Hey, this is Buck Dharma of Blue Oyster Cult, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
You can put it on the board! Yes!
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Angus and Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, the king of all those gigantic cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Wait till you try those flat iron, incredible Wagyu steaks and those half-pound Wagyu burgers. They're all amazing. Probably be the best you ever have as well. Certainly the best I've ever had. Check them out at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com. Or give them a call. Find out what's for dinner. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100 for UppercutChops.com. All right, welcome into everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates and independents from coast to coast. Everybody watching on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, Wild Charter, and independent cable affiliates from coast to coast in select markets, Hotel TV where applicable. Everybody streaming on Pick Your Favorite Streamer, and of course everybody on Facebook watching in and listening in on Chicago Food Favorites. Check that group out, folks. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. A fun group. Talk about your favorite foods, your favorite restaurants, your favorite recipes. Make some friends, have some fun. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. And our friends over at Vacation Buddies are giving away a couple of nights right here in Las Vegas or in Orlando, Florida, or Branson, Missouri. If you know the answer to a simple trivia question, if you're one of the first 10 callers, you'll pick up a couple of nights with the right answer, of course. A couple of nights right here in Vegas, Orlando, Florida, or Branson, Missouri. Here's the question. If you know the answer, call the number I give you right afterwards. Which city is home to the tallest building in America? Is it A, New York, B, Chicago, C, Los Angeles? If you know the answer, call 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777. Vacation Buddies is not affiliated with this station. However, they want to give you a couple of nights right here in Vegas, Orlando, Florida, or Branson, Missouri. If you know the answer, call 888-576-5777 right now and pick up your 3-day, 2-night trip to either Las Vegas, Orlando, Florida, or Branson, Missouri. All right, I got something for you. I'm going to tell you a story about a boy named Darian. Now, Darian, born January 25th, 2005, way back in the time machine. I guess you can laugh about that one. We won't. This guy is an American college football quarterback. He previously played for the Tulane Green Wave and the Duke Blue Devils. He attended St. Joe's High in Santa Maria, California. As a senior, he went on to be the Mountain League Player of the Year after passing for a bunch of yards and a bunch of touchdowns. And then he committed to Tulane University to play college football. At Tulane, after redshirting his first year, this guy was named the Green Wave starting quarterback for a 2024 season, winning the job in the fall camp over somebody else, a former Oregon transfer. Now, this guy made an immediate impact in his first collegiate start against Southeastern Louisiana. Got to tell you, folks, not really the toughest of opponents, but it is what it is. Throwing for a bunch of yards and a couple of touchdowns, whatever. Okay, and followed it with a career-high passing the next week against another somewhat questionable opponent. Now, this guy also started all 13 games during the 2024 season, finishing the year with 189 completions, 287 attempts, 65% essentially, for about 2,723 yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, while adding 132 rushing yards and a touchdown. And he threw for 300 or more in 3 games, blah, blah, blah. Now, with Tulane, with the Green Wave, under his leadership, they were 9-4. And they reached the American Athletic Conference Championship game. And, of course, they earned a trip to the Gasparilla Bowl. All right? Now, if you don't know what the Gasparilla Bowl is, well, you're not by yourself. So it is played at Raymond James Stadium. That's basically home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as in other games are there as well. So it's just one of the early games that is really down the list when it comes to bowl games. Nonetheless, this guy led the ACC in completion percentage, yards per attempt, and passer rating. So be it. That's the AAC, not the ACC, by the way, the American Athletic Conference. Now, on December 8th of 2024, this guy announced his intention to enter the NCAA transfer portal. Sound familiar? Oh yeah, this story is one that we've heard many, many times. And subsequently opted out of Tulane's bowl game. All right, so he essentially left them high and dry. And you know, when you look at this kind of a track record from early on, you say if he's done it once, he'll do it again. And then he'll do it again. And then he'll do it again. So he was regarded as, allegedly, a top player in a transfer portal, according to the 4-letter network, before committing to his next school. That being my beloved Duke University, where I am absolutely, unequivocally, an alum. Yes! So, I'm going somewhere with this. Just follow along here. Now, on December 11th, 2024, this guy announced he would be transferring to Duke and basically leaving Tulane high and dry in the bowl game. So, he opened his Duke career with a win against lowly Elon, throwing some touchdowns and passes, blah, 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 padding up the stats against a very unworthy opponent. Nonetheless, Duke then faced early challenges, including consecutive losses to better teams. That's right. And just remember, he even played his old team, the Green Wave. And that's right. That happened to be a loss. I don't care what he threw for. What we do, he threw for interception. We knew that. Then he led Duke through a 5-game stretch where they went 4-1, all that fun stuff. This included a performance against Clemson, blah, 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 where he threw for some touchdowns and whatnot. And yeah, it was a last-minute victory by 1 point, 46-45, over Clemson, which is not the same Clemson that Dabo Swinney has had for years and years. It is a Clemson that's in a rebuild. So this guy finished the regular season just a touch better than what he did over at Tulane, from 65% to 67%. So that's fine and dandy. He threw 1 less interception and a handful more touchdowns. He ranked among the nation's leaders in passing yards and touchdowns, set a Duke single-season record for passing touchdowns. Well, frankly, they didn't have really a whole bunch of good quarterbacks there anyway, so something tells me that's sort of a dubious record in the first place. Nonetheless, Duke earned a trip to the ACC championship game. That's right. And, of course, they got themselves a win against Virginia, who somehow, I'm not really sure why they were in there, but I know why they were in there, but this certainly wasn't the best matchup for the ACC in the grand scheme of things. So, nonetheless, even though Duke won the ACC championship, they did not get a chance to go to the college football playoff. And ironically, Miami, who was in the championship game, they were in the college football playoff, they weren't even the champions. They weren't even in the championship game in the ACC. That's how messed up college football is today. Nonetheless, following the ACC championship, this guy announced he would return to Duke for the 2026 season, foregoing the 2026 draft. And he had signed a 2-year, $8 million name, image, and likeness contract with Duke in 2024 upon transferring from Tulane. Now, there are rules behind signing these contracts. This is where we're going today, folks. So let's follow along. So Duke concluded the season with their win over Arizona State in the Sun Bowl. right? That I think is the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl now. Nonetheless, high-scoring Sun Bowl in history, whatever. Basically, no defense was played. They scored, 81 points. So be it. And this guy threw for some touchdowns. Yes, another interception, etc. and so forth. Okay, now, here's where we're at. On January 16, 2026, this guy decided to enter the transfer portal and leave Duke. Now, on January 20, Duke and this guy had a little bit of a problem because Duke sued him, attempting to prevent him from entering the transfer portal, citing a breach of contract. That's right, folks. And I have to tell you, I understand the university's position 100%. I understand this particular player's position. I don't agree with the player. I certainly agree with the university because the player met the criteria of signing a contract in the first place. And in the next segment or two, we're going to go over all of this fun stuff and we're going to take a deeper dive. Why? It matters because this is what college football and college basketball has been brought to. And if you're wondering why some of the games appear to be a little compromised, well, then you certainly will understand the financial side behind it. Now, if this guy is allowed to transfer and break the contract, then what has our Constitution become? Back here in a few minutes on The Circus. You don't want to miss this one. Don't go anywhere.
Stop it!
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at
714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100.
Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Do you know someone with a drug or alcohol problem? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything. Stop the drug and alcohol nightmare. Are drug and alcohol problems hitting you too close to home? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything.
800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. That's 800-831-1560.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UppercutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UppercutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UppercutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door. store without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at uppercutchops.com or call 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Or make your selection directly at uppercutchops.com.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Thank you, Roy, and welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment brought to you and brought by our friends over at the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out at csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, csncoyotes.com. Check them out, folks. All right, welcome back to everybody listening in on our radio and television and affiliates. Actually, you're watching on television. Everybody listening in, our friends over in Atlanta, thanks for waking up with us on WDJY 99.1 FM. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m., you can hear the Sports Circus in the greater Atlanta market. Right down the road, driving home from work in Auburn, Alabama, Columbus, Georgia, Montgomery, Alabama, WAUD. And that's 1230 on the AM dial, and that is home of the Atlanta Braves. Up and down the Midwest, thanks for listening in. All the way out to the West Coast, those driving between sunny Southern California and right here in Las Vegas. Listening in on Highway Country Radio, 101.5 FM and 107.3 FM. Home of the Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Raiders. And, of course, the Sports Circus at 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. All the way out to Honolulu, CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the 49ers, home of the New York Yankees. And, of course, the Alabama Crimson Tide. And so we want to welcome everybody in driving home with us over there in Honolulu and throughout the Hawaiian Islands. Plus everybody watching on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, Wild Charter, and independent cable affiliates from coast to coast, as well as everybody on your favorite streaming service, because we're on all of those streaming service platforms, as well as Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Check that out, folks. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook, a fun group. Talk about your favorite restaurants, your favorite recipes, your favorite foods. Make some friends, have some fun. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. And by the way, in case you're just tuning in, at the top of the hour, we did make an announcement for our friends over at Vacation Buddies, giving away a couple of nights right here in Vegas, Orlando, Florida, or Branson, Missouri. And I gave a simple trivia question. If you know the answer, you can pick up your 3-day, 2-night getaway in Las Vegas, Orlando, Florida, or Branson, Missouri. Here's the question in case you're just tuning in. And if you know the answer, call the number I give you right afterwards and pick up your 2 free nights if you're one of the top 10 callers. Which of these 3 cities is home to the tallest building in America? Is it A, New York, B, Chicago, C, Los Angeles? If you know the answer, call 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777. Vacation Buddies is not affiliated with this station, but they want to give you a couple of nights right here in Las Vegas, Orlando, or Branson, Missouri. So go ahead and give them a quick shot. And remember, they're not affiliated with us, but they want to give you a couple of nights on your own time. So go ahead and make that call right now. So in the first segment, it was about a story about a boy named Darian. Now, Darian played football at Tulane. Darian then transferred to play football at Duke. Darian now wants to transfer again. However, Darian seemed to forget his obligation to Duke University. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm only reading it like everybody else. Everybody else has heard it, seen it, whatever. Now, this is according to DukeChronicle.com. So it's Duke's newspaper here. And they say we're going to go ahead and break down Duke's lawsuit against the quarterback, Darian Mensah. And so this story, by the way, has been updated. I mean, this is literally just, this is fresh off the press. Nonetheless, Duke filed a lawsuit against quarterback Darian Mensah, just 3 days after he requested to enter the transfer portal. The redshirt sophomore signal caller was halfway through a 2-year contract with Duke and had previously announced he would return for a second year of that agreement. By signing the contract, Mensah sold his exclusive name, image, and likeness rights to the university under numerous conditions, including a promise that he would not enroll at or compete in athletics for another collegiate institution. Now that quote is in the agreement. Well, let's do it again. Quote, that he would not, quote, enroll at or compete in athletics for another collegiate institution, close quote, between July 1, 2025 and December 31, 2026. Now, though the monetary amounts of Mensah's contract were redacted in the appendix of the lawsuit, they were rumored to total up to $4 million per year and revealed to be distributed over 18 pay periods. Okay. Now, in the suit, Duke claims that Mensah's actions violate, quote, numerous provisions, close quote, of his contract and constitute, quote, irreparable harm, close quote. Now, Duke requested both an immediate temporary restraining order and injunctive relief. Now, the temporary restraining order would prohibit Mensah from entering the transfer portal, since that movement would allow him to further breach the contract by contacting other schools. The initial judge, who rescued himself from the case as a booster of Duke basketball, granted most of the temporary restraining order, prohibiting Mensah from enrolling at or competing athletically for another school for the time being. However, the judge noted that Duke can't prevent Mensah from entering the transfer portal. So this comes after Mensah's legal counsel posted something on social media about a limited ruling. That's what that was. So the injunctive relief the university has requested is a court order which would prevent a party from committing an action like Mensah committing to another school or earning name, image, and likeness elsewhere until the case is resolved. A new judge has scheduled a hearing coming up real soon and to rule whether or not Mensah can enroll, play for, or earn compensation at another school. Now, the lawsuit read, quote, Mensah's actions violated numerous provisions of his contract with Duke University and disregard his promises and obligations to the university, and as Mensah agreed, when he signed his contract, such breaches caused Duke irreparable harm for which there is no adequate remedy at law, and in the event of any such breach, Duke shall be entitled to injunctive or other equitable relief, close quote. Now, Duke Athletics did not respond to the Chronicle's request for comment, but did release a general statement stating, quote, Mr. Mensah has an existing contract with Duke, which the university intends to honor, and we expect he will do the same. The court-ordered temporary restraining order issued yesterday ensures he does not violate his contract. The university is committed to supporting all of our student athletes while expecting each of them to abide by their contractual obligations, close quote. Now, if Duke is not able to get injunctive relief before a long arbitration process, Mensah could draw out the proceedings and play elsewhere. In similar case, Wisconsin sued Miami after its former defensive back Xavier Lucas transferred there in the middle of a 2-year contract. That case is still ongoing in Wisconsin court, and Lucas played in the 2025 season at Miami. And the difference in this case is that Duke has sued Mensah, an individual, and the case is currently proceeding in a local Durham County court. Now, Mensah and legal counsel did not hear or did not respond to the Chronicle's request for comment, but if their counsel, their statement are any indication, the argument could feature the university's inability to prevent Mensa from entering the portal or unenroll academically from Duke. Now, they could also refute Duke's claim of irreparable harm, given that damage liability would be capped at the amount Duke paid to Mensa according to the contract. In theory, since Mensa could be replaced on the field with another quarterback and monetary damages could be repaid, the actions don't constitute irreparable harm, allegedly, to the university, according to defense. Now, on the flip side, Duke could agree that because Mensa entered the portal at the last moment, he effectively precluded Duke from signing a replacement transfer, and the Blue Devils' backup quarterback transferred and committed to Missouri State a day before Mensa entered the portal. That's where it gets really, really sticky. I'm going to stop right there because we're going to go to break here in just a few moments. But I have to tell you, folks, if you're wondering how this even happened or how this could happen or why this would happen, it's real simple.
Show me the money!
And I'll show you a deal. And that's really what matters. The only sound that matters is the bill counter. And the money. Nothing else matters. College football, college basketball has, in my opinion, entered the worst possible time in the history of their existence because money is wrecking everything. And that is the problem. This is why we see betting on this and betting on that and scandals in this and scandals in that. Whatever happened to playing the damn game in the first place? How about a little bit of integrity? How about a little accountability? Back here in a few minutes, folks. Don't go anywhere.
If I was your mother and you had a drug problem, I'd grab you by the ear and make you call and get help. You can be in treatment tomorrow and start to get clean in 7 days. Follow Mom's advice and call the Detox and Treatment Helpline now. Write this number down.
800-814-8628. 800-814-8628. 800-814-8628. That's 800-814-8628.
Are you or someone you love struggling with an addiction to drugs or alcohol and want to be set free from the chains of addiction? Then call Addiction Helpline America right now to get the help you need. From drug and alcohol addiction to dual diagnosis treatment, we provide a confidential helpline to help people like you get sober and live happy, substance-free lives.
Treatment helped me get my life back. I was so addicted, the only person I could focus on was myself and what I needed. I hit rock bottom and lost everything. Through treatment, I was able to overcome those demons and focus on my family again.
I used until I overdosed and almost died. That was the end of the road for me. After seeking treatment, I now have hope. I learned skills that help me deal with life on life's terms.
800-426-4994. 800-426-4994. 800-426-4994. That's 800-426-4994.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven, gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number.
800-876-7041. 800-876-7041. 800-876-7041. That's 800-876-7041.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP television. Folks, make sure you check out the sportscircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, recorded shows which can be found on Apple, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, iHeart, Stitcher, Deezer, plus a whole bunch of others. Also, check out the partners page at thesportscircus.com. Lots of great partners. One of our favorites is the music of legendary rock band Blue Oyster Cult. Yes, their logo is there. Click on their logo, and it'll take you right to their tour schedule. Pick up some merch. They've been doing it for decades. Multi-platinum. Man, these guys are legit. No fix-it in the mix. No auto-tune. No backing tracks. No nothing. In fact, even if you heard at the top of the show, it was Buck Dharma from Blue Oyster Cult doing our initial announcement. Buck's a great guy, a friend of the Sports Circus. And I have to tell you, folks, if you want to go see music that not only will you recognize, watch these guys play, they are master musicians. Check them out at blueoystercult.com or just click on the link on the Sports Circus Partners page as well. Of course, they always get the super applause. Welcome back to everybody on TV and radio. You know who you are. And everybody streaming as well. Thanks for doing that. Now, we left off talking about this ridiculous name, image, and likeness contract that was broken. Imagine getting a whole bunch of money from one of the world's top universities where you're guaranteed a great education. And oh, by the way, you happen to be playing pretty good football with a decent football program, winning the ACC. That's right, ahead of even teams like Miami, who was in the final game against Indiana. Boy, they gave them one hell of a game, too. But I have to tell you, if you have all of these pieces put in place, you would think that your life is going to be set. Duke doesn't produce any failure, folks. Oh, hell no. The reality is you have Darian Mensah, who entered a contract with Tulane, broke the contract as I see it. Now, I can't say I didn't see the contract personally, but as I understand it, enters then a contract with Duke University. And what does he do? Now, trying to break the contract again. Okay, now this is a kid from Santa Maria, California. I don't know what they're teaching their kids over in Santa Maria, California. I have no idea. But I got to tell you, it seems to me that somewhere along the line, understanding what a valuable education is, first of all, is one thing. Understanding your obligations when you sign something is something else. Understanding what's right from wrong is something that's supposed to be taught at home. Now, I don't know what his upbringing was, but I'll tell you this much. Santa Maria is not the low-rent district. It's nice over there. And so who knows what happened when this kid was growing up in high school, whatever. He was pretty good in sports. That's why he signed on with Tulane in the first place. And then, of course, apparently he said, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this opportunity here. You would think that from an athletic and academic standpoint, I mean, why would you go anywhere else? Think about that. Why would you want to transfer away from truly one of America's top universities, one of the world's top universities? Nonetheless, oh, I know why. Because he has the possibility of replacing Carson Beck at the University of Miami. That's why he's trying to transfer out of Duke. But nonetheless, let's continue on with what Duke Chronicle says. This is their newspaper. This is from DukeChronicle.com. You could read about this as well. But I have a dog in a fight here because I'm a Duke grad. And as a college recruiter on top of it, I've been a recruiter for over 25 years. And I've seen these movies, and I know what this looks like from a alleged student athlete standpoint. Got to tell you, folks, it's pretty dicey out there. Now, let's go to the terms of the contract. So Darian Mensah's contract sold his name, image, and likeness rights to Duke University under several distinct promises. It's a very important sentence there, folks. Now, most importantly, the agreement stipulated that Mensah would not, quote, enroll at or compete in athletics for another collegiate institution, close quote. It further details that Mensah would not, quote, initiate contact with admissions or athletics staffs at other institutions, close quote. And that he would notify Duke within 48 hours of any contact between himself or his representation and other collegiate institutions. Now, Mensah also agreed not to disclose the terms of his contract and to refrain from acts that could harm either his own image or the image of Duke University. On a more technical front, the contract also requires that both parties resolve all disputes through arbitration. This type of resolution is typically faster than normal court proceedings and is subject to a much more limited scope of private discovery, which involves the exchange between the two parties of materials and communications relating to the accusations. Now, I can tell you as an arbitrator myself, as an arbiter, I should say, I have seen this kind of thing, and I continue to see it. Nonetheless, so far, what Duke Chronicle is saying is 100% accurate. Now, they continue on with Duke's complaint argues that Mensah's departure from the program inhibits his ability to participate in arbitral proceedings, thus debilitating the university in its attempt to seek relief. Under a clause of North Carolina law, the court has the ability to restrain Mensah from further breaching his contract while initial arbitration takes place, and Duke attempted to do so through the temporary restraining order. So there's a timeline that happened with all this. Now, both parties abided by all terms of the contract between July 1, start date, and the end of 2025. On December 19, amid rumors that he might declare for the NFL draft, Mensah released a LeBron James-style decision video on his personal Instagram account announcing an intention to return for the 2026 season. He later removed the post. Early on the afternoon of January 16th, the final day to enter the college football transfer portal, reports began to circulate on X that Mensah was considering a switch, a purported, quote, buyout, close quote, of his contract, including a new offer with a variety of other perks, gained traction online. And so somebody named Liam Blutman, whoever that may be, stated on X, Miami's supposed desperation move for Mensah, buying his Duke contract and terminate it, pay around $10 million total to make it happen, country club housing and Adidas deal plus campaign. Sister supposedly gets a full ride plus name, image, and likeness. Current soccer player at Oregon. And this is all under Liam Blutman. Also stating, let me work to confirm what I'm hearing. Can't fault Mensah for leaving for Miami if the offer I've heard is 100% real. It's desperation. Now that was all Liam Blutman, whoever that may be. Anyway, look him up, I guess, if you want to find out who he is. Now, per the lawsuit, Mensah called head coach Manny Diaz at 3:56 p.m. to inform him and his intention to transfer. 18 minutes later, Mensah sent an email to Duke Athletics compliance officer requesting the necessary materials to enter the portal. He posted a farewell message to the program on his X account at 4:51, less than an hour later, nearly 40 minutes before receiving a response from the office. And I'm looking at a copy of this right now. I wonder if I can read this to you. Let's see if I can get this. I think I've got it. So this document states, now mind you, this was again from Darian Mensah. He says, "Thank you. All has been completed. God bless." Okay, I think I'm going backwards. Let's go to the let's go to the bottom of this. Okay, so the initial document stated, this is from Darian Mensah to Megan Ford, Duke University, and Matthew Keen, Duke University, whatever. Request to enter the portal. This is my formal request to be entered into the NCAA transfer portal. Please send me the necessary steps to finalize. Thank you, and have a good evening. A response shortly thereafter said, "Hi, Darian. In order to begin the transfer process, you will need to complete the transfer notification form in ARMS, all caps. Once logged into ARMS, click on Workflow on the left-hand side and then Workflow Launchpad. Click on Transfer Notification Form and then complete all the required fields within the form. You will need to do the following. A, you will need to watch the Transfer Education module linked to the form. And B, you will need to complete the acknowledgement link in the form. This confirms you watched the video. Once you complete these steps, submit them and return the form. The institution has 2 business days to enter you into the transfer portal. Once you are in the transfer portal, you can begin speaking with other institutions. Thanks, Megan, Assistant Director of Athletics." Now, and he says, "Thank you, all has been completed," shortly thereafter. So we're gonna table this until we come back from the break because, okay, what he has, in my opinion, what he has done is now he has initiated the breach of his contract on his own. And mind you, he is over 18 years of age. Well, guess what? Or at least 18 years of age. So there's somewhere I'm going to go with this when we come back from break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to finish the subject up. I think this guy's in a lot of trouble. Don't go anywhere, folks. I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it on air that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-298-3173. 800-298-3173. 800-298-3173. That's 800-298-3173.
Are you or someone you love struggling with an addiction to drugs or alcohol and want to be set free from the chains of addiction? Then call Addiction Helpline America right now to get the help you need. From drug and alcohol addiction to dual diagnosis treatment, we provide a confidential helpline to help people like you get sober and live happy, substance-free lives.
Treatment helped me get my life back. I was so addicted, the only person I could focus on was myself and what I needed. I hit rock bottom and lost everything. Through treatment, I was able to overcome those demons and focus on my family again.
I used until I overdosed and almost died. That was the end of the road for me. After seeking treatment, I now have hope. I learned skills that help me deal with life. on life's terms.
800-426-4994. 800-426-4994. 800-426-4994. That's 800-426-4994.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP-TV studio, AAMP Television. Folks, make sure you check out the store at thesportscircus.com. Lots of great items there: hats, hoodies, t-shirts, sweatpants, sweat coats, coffee mugs, travel mugs, mouse pads, pillows, blankets, you name it. They're all there with the clever Sports Circus logo on them. And of course, if you mention me, Ringmaster Sal, you'll get 10% off your first order. That's the store at thesportscircus.com. Just click right at the top on that tab that says store. Have some fun. Check it out, folks. Lots of cool things there. All right, welcome back to everybody. Radio TV, Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook, etc., so forth. Now, we've been talking about Darian Mensah and the lawsuit that he has pending right now with Duke University. And this is, got to tell you, folks, this is not good. This is bad in a whole bunch of ways. But let me finish this here. I've been reading this off of Duke Chronicle. This is our newspaper here for Duke University. And they have given a really good background as to what's really going on with this thing. All right, so you'll hear it from this outlet, that media outlet, the other media outlet, but you're not going to hear the details like this, and this comes directly from the university. Now, there's a legal precedent here. Now, although this lawsuit is among the first of its kind, there have been recent discrepancies over school and athletic contracts, including Wisconsin's case against Miami. That's right, Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin against, yes, Miami again. And their counsel, listen, it's the same guy for both cases. That's right. Now, recently, Washington quarterback Desmond Williams entered the transfer portal just 4 days after signing a legally binding revenue share contract for the 2026-27 season. The university threatened legal action but did not file a suit, and Williams announced his return to Washington. Because each conference typically has its own template for name, image, and likeness and revenue sharing contracts, the terms vary. Now, Williams' contract included a buyout, but Mensah's does not. Now, compensation in college athletics was further ignited by the House versus NCAA in June of 2025. What an awful situation this is, in my opinion, which ruled that players can earn money in two separate ways aside from scholarship payments. The first is that the universities can use up to $20.5 million from their athletic department budget to directly pay players, and are also called revenue share.
Show me the money!
That's right. This is awful. Secondly, a collective, which is an independent organization, basically boosters, as I understand it, often linked to universities that pairs athletes with sponsorship opportunities, basically pay to play. And so that's another one of these alleged opportunities. The House settlement also created the College Sports Commission, an independent enforcement agency that would rule on the validity of NIL cases. Oh, really? That's interesting when they can't seem to get their stuff together in Congress anyway. They ensure that any agreement between collectives and players, basically boosters and players, are not pay for play. Really? How does that work? All right, that's another show for another time. Meaning student athletes have to participate in adequate scope of work, whether that be social media appearances, That's right, social media appearances, merchandise signings, or other NIL opportunities. So what's often, frankly, it's not clear in the contract is what percentage of the NIL revenue, the sharing of the money, is included in the monetary sum in the first place. Now, according to the House settlement, schools can buy athletes' NIL rights, which is exactly what Duke did, in a licensing contract. Critically, Duke alleges in the lawsuit that its payment, quote, did not and do not hinge on Mensah's on-field performance, close quote. However, it would give him additional payments for all ACC recognition. Duke notes that in the contract, and those payments would account for Mensah's increased NIL value. But that sounds like divorce court to me, folks. What could this mean for the college sports? Well, here's where it gets ugly. This case has the possibility to fundamentally alter college sports because the contracts aren't classified as employment. They're much harder for schools to enforce. Mensah could not, for example, breach a 2-year employment contract with Duke. Now, a 2025 four-letter network report that obtained many NIL contracts noted that they are similar to employment contracts, and schools could have a difficult time arguing in court that these contracts aren't pay for play. Now, Mensah's attorney told the four-letter network that the contracts aren't necessarily fair to the players who are giving away their NIL rights without any guarantee. Now, if they're not fair, why are they signing the agreements in the first place? Why are they signing a losing situation, according to that last statement? Now, look, with record number of athletes entering the transfer portal each season, the NCAA reported more than 10,500 football players across 3 divisions in this year's window. Regulations on contracts and roster moves and turnover are bound to evolve, and regardless of outcome, Mensah's case will likely set a precedent for many collegiate athletes moving forward. Then there's a very long court document. Let me tell you something, folks. First, let's go into this. This is a contractual obligation. Now, pick your favorite search engine. We chose one that rhymes with noodle. And you'll probably do the same thing. I suggest you check this out because there's pretty good information. In the U.S., reaching age 18 generally grants full contractual capacity, meaning individuals are legally bound by contracts as adults. Though state laws vary slightly and exceptions exist for necessities, emancipations, and specific employment entertainment contracts, before 18, contracts are usually voidable by the minor, but once they turn 18, they must disaffirm within a reasonable time or be considered to have ratified or accepted the contract, with some states limiting this right, especially if they misrepresented their age or the contract was essential, such as food, shelter, those kind of things, basic tenets of life. Now, what are the key concepts? Age of majority. Hey, man, this dude was 18. That's right. And let's face it, they have full capacity to sign a contract. And there is contract capacity, the legal ability to understand and agree the terms of the actual obligation of the contract. This is a college student transferred from Tulane University to a fine university in Duke University. So something tells me that Darian Mensah knows how to read. Is it voidable? Look, contracts with minors are. Now, if they're 18 years of age or older, there's going to be hell to pay. Ratification or accepting the contract after reaching the age of majority? Well, guess what? It's often by continuing to use the item or failing to disaffirm promptly. So therefore, he's got a bigger problem. So what happens at 18? Binding contracts. That's what happens, just like any adult. And they become fully responsible for their contractual obligations. Period. That's right. And remember, there are 4 parts to the contract, in case you don't know. The 4 essential elements of a contract are offer, acceptance, consideration, and intent to create legal relations, ensuring the agreement is legally binding, enforceable promise where parties exchange value with a clear understanding of commitment. What was the offer? Well, the offer was, hey, you can come here, we'll give you a whole bunch of money, and you can play quarterback at our university. The acceptance? Yes, I'll go ahead and take that. Absolutely. The consideration, well, guess what? That was taking the money that he was getting out of the 18 payments. He has already received a whole bunch of that money. I don't know how many millions of dollars. So yes, consideration, check that box. An intent to create legal relations. Both parties must intend for the agreement to be legally enforceable, not just a casual promise. Well, Duke University certainly intended for this to create a legal relation, and this is why they bought his NIL rights. However, it sure seems as Darian Mensah wanted to create a casual promise. Now, let's just go ahead and transfer to another university. Hell, we've already transferred from Tulane. Let's transfer from Duke. Let's go over to Miami, and let's let them deal with it. Let's let them buy out the contract and make me whole so I can play football in the same conference, mind you, as Duke University. But you want to talk about creating bad blood? Look, in my opinion, the University of Miami already has bad blood around the country. There's a lot of negative that has come from the University of Miami, in my opinion. I have seen it for the last, 45 plus years, whatever the hell it is. And it just seems to me that the University of Miami is a good school. But a lot of what is represented as either unethical, in my opinion, or unaccountable, or lacking moral compass, or anything that sort of goes along with that path, it almost seems like you could draw that directly at some point, somehow, in my opinion, to the University of Miami. And it just goes on and on. And what was fine, I think about this. We did a show back in 2017 with an NCAA official. Now, this guy officiated 2 NCAA title games, both of the ones from the University of Miami, as a matter of fact, when Jimmy Johnson was there. And Rusty Spindell, who is the retired official, he was the referee for, I guess, those games. And it's funny because we had Rusty on. It's one of our sound bites, kind of a fun sound bite for the show. And he said when he was at Miami, he said apparently they're not paying me as a referee enough because the players are driving better cars than he was driving. And he actually meant that too. And it came out in a joke, but he actually meant that. And I mean, look, you can go back to, I think it's the March 25th of 2017 episode. It's one of my favorite episodes. March 25th, 2017, and you can hear Rusty say that himself. He was saying it in jest, but at the same time, he was truthful. He was honest about it. The University of Miami is a fine academic institution. The problem is all the scandal, in my opinion, all the chaos, all the question marks and the pay to play and stuff history they have from everything that we've read. It's out there in the major media sphere. It's out there. And you're saying, okay, well, now you've got Darian Mensah wanting to transfer to this, in my opinion, dubious opportunity. And look, I get it financially because it's always about
show me the money!
And apparently they want to. But honestly, I think there is the idea of integrity missing here. We're going to leave it right there, folks. Go research it yourself. We'll see you in 23 hours right here on The Circus. So long, everyone.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it out here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.